Good afternoon and welcome to our webinar today. And my name is Steve Barrett and I am the Director of Membership and Strategic Engagement here at Energy and Utility Skills. So I hope you're sitting comfortably and you're ready for the webinar session this afternoon. We've got a fun-packed agenda. We've got some great speakers from industry to come in and have explain to you their life as an apprentice and what it's like to work in the industry. But before we do that, I'm going to take you through a couple of prelims. You don't want to hear from me for too long, so I'm going to talk a little bit about what's happening in industry and some of the challenges, I guess, and some of the exciting opportunities which are coming down the road over the next 5-10 years, and therefore the subsequent opportunities which are out there for you to get involved in. Suffice to say, you would have seen in the news there is lots going on. So without further ado, let me just take you forward and have a look at what we've got today. So I'll give you a quick industry insights. That should take us through to about 10 past. And then we've got industry presentations from Anglian Water, National Grid, and Wales and West Utilities. So we've got someone from the water industry, someone from power, and also someone from the gas industry. So exciting presentations there. Then we're going to get on to the Q&A session, and then I'll close out at the end. There is the opportunity for people to pop some comments in the chat. I shall try and keep an eye on that and bring up people's questions. There's also a Q&A facility there as well. So please do, as we're going through, pop your questions in there, and hopefully we'll get to them throughout the session. We do only have an hour though, so I shall go as quickly as I possibly can, get you listening to the people that are way more interested than I am, and then we can go from there. So without further ado, let's push on. So a little bit about the industry and what's going on at the moment. Lots to think about over the next 10 years, thinking about how we transition from where we are, where we're heavily dependent on fossil fuels, move into much more renewables, battery storage, solar energy. So what does that mean? There's going to be skills implications. We need more people to come and do those jobs. And I'll talk about the number of people that we need in a second. Also thinking about decarbonisation, net zero targets. What do we need to achieve within certain timescales? Needless to say, you would have seen on the news as well, quite ambitious targets. Also, what does that mean? Well, we're changing some of the roles. We're changing some of the what we're looking for in those certain roles. We're looking at digitalization. We're looking at really exciting careers coming down the road. Grid modernization. So most of you will probably have smart meters in your homes. So we're looking at going from a distribution network system into distribution systems. So two-way messaging between what happens with that power that comes into your home, and things like when you plug your car in to charge it up at night. If you have an electric car, well, actually that feeds into, hopefully, that national system of energy usage. Therefore, you can use that power when you get home. Lots of exciting things like that. Electric cars and charging infrastructure. There's going to be about 10.2 million homes that are going to need electric car chargers over the next 10 years. So that's quite exciting. Lots going on in there. So we need more electricians. Energy security and geopolitical factors. Gosh, you would have seen what's happening in the news. You've seen lots of things going on in Russia and the like. So energy security and security of supply. So we need to make sure we've got a secure supply. So therefore, we're looking at transitioning our energy usage. Digitalization, innovation, I've mentioned really exciting things going on in digitalization as we look to digitalize our networks and make them much more efficient, much more effective and reliable. Energy efficiency, demand management, so looking at how we flatten out those peaks and troughs of power usage. I mentioned earlier about smart metering. Lots going on in that space, and also regulation and policy certainty. So some of you may have seen or talk about hydrogen. So what's happening in that hydrogen space? We're waiting for government to make some decisions, but actually we're forging ahead in many of the areas of hydrogen which we're looking at. So around transportation, looking at the general production of hydrogen and storage and what that potentially means going into people's homes, but lots of other things as well. investment trends, so looking at where the money comes from to invest in the transition to net zero. And actually what we need to do is make sure it's attractive as it possibly can be, and therefore it will move forward at the pace we require it to move at. And last but not least, resilience and climate adaptation, thinking about from a water and environment perspective. Lots of things going on in terms of the some of the extreme heat challenges that we have, and making sure that we have resilience within our networks to be able to supply us with clean water. So we talk quite a lot about making sure that we're coping with those future challenges. So lots of things going on and lots of opportunities for you to get involved with as we go forward. So a little bit about the sector headlines then. Gosh. How many people do we need? Well, we need about 312,000 people into the workforce by 2030. That is a significant uplift on what we've got at the moment. And these people required to fill probably around 205 new jobs. So what does that mean for you looking at a potential career? Well, there are lots and lots of new jobs to be looking at. The whole infrastructure changing and the requirements which are going to be needed going forward. There are lots of opportunities to get stuck into. Also, unfortunately, most of the people in industry look a little bit like me, and we're a little bit old, and we are looking at many, many retirements. So 106,800 retirements, or 70%. 17% of that current workforce. So there's lots of people which are coming to the end of their career and they're considering what are they going to do next. And we need young people coming in behind, and we need people to transfer in from other industries as well. So therefore looking at similar skills in other industries. So lots going on. If you look at the table on the right hand side there, you'll see across the gas networks utilization. So your the gas that you use in your home, so therefore your gas engineer that comes into your home. You can see some of the uplift from where we are in 2024 and where we're moving to in 2030. A lot of the gas side is predicated on a change in from natural gas across to hydrogen, but there is still a huge skills required to maintain the networks which we have. Same on power. I talked about distribution system, also the investment which we're looking to make on the transmission system in power as well, to be able to support some of the infrastructure which we got coming through. You'll see huge power stations being built like Hinkley Point C, discussions around Sizewell C as well. So lots going on in that space, right the way down to micro generation. So looking at people's homes, be it solar panels, be it small wind turbines, all those sorts of things. They're all considerations on how you balance that grid and support that. Also in the waste and recycling space, so much of the activity which is going on here is making sure we've got a circular economy and making sure that we can support what that future requirement is, and making sure that we're not wasting too much of that and recycling some of the food waste and putting that to good use. And also in the water industry. So it's not just about net zero, it's also about making sure we're mitigating the risk of climate change as best we have. And the water industry is going through a significant investment over the next 5 years. So they've just gone through a regulatory price setting period, which means that they've committed to spend over £100 billion over the next 5 years in investing in that water infrastructure. So there are a lot of jobs which are coming up there, not only in the asset owners, but also in the supply chain right the way across all of these areas. So lots going on there. So what about the types of people, the roles which we've got coming up? So you'll see there sort of occupations which we're looking at, and the table on the right hand side gives you an idea what sort of qualifications level that we're looking at many of those roles. And I'm not going to get into too much of the detail of those, but if you look down that left hand side, so the sorts of occupations which we're looking in: science, research, engineering, technology professionals, as well as business and public service associate professionals. So there's lots of roles right the way from that level 7 or 8 in your master's kind of level, right the way down to those level 1s and 2s. And where we're talking at today, I suppose, coming in at that apprenticeship level, be it an apprenticeship week, but there are other areas, other potential opportunities which are going across. And it's all to do with supporting that transition as well as managing the current system as it stands. So what's my key messages here? There's lots of jobs out there. There are lots of things coming up. I'll point you in the direction of a website right at the end of this session, but If you look on there, you'll be able to see expands the wide array of those types of roles, which you can potentially go into, and some of the opportunities which are coming up. We are constantly looking for a more diverse workforce. So therefore, if you are considering various industries, if you want to be part of that transition to net zero, we are definitely looking for you to come in and support us as an industry. So look, that's it from me. That's kind of the upfront, a little bit of the boring stuff, but hopefully I'll whet your appetite and you can see some of the challenges which we've got, as well as the opportunities to be able to support that transition to net zero. So without further ado, I'm going to hand you over to our first presenter. And today we've got Graham and Alex from Anglian Water. So if I can just ask you to come on screen and turn your cameras on both, please. So Graham is the Operations Resourcing Manager at Anglian Water and has been with Anglian Water for 4.5 years. He team manages the operations recruitment within Anglian Water to include early careers, recruitment such as apprentices and graduates. And Graham is joined by Alex today, who's a maintenance technician apprentice who has worked at Anglian for over 4 years. And he works in the water recycling side of the business and maintaining operational asset and pump stations and treatment works. Over to you.
Thank you very much for the intro. And yeah, some good facts and figures to think about. If we can just go to the next slide, what I'm going to do is a brief intro about Anglian Water, why become an apprentice, and then I'm going to pass you over to Alex to discuss his journey. So as you can see on the screen, we have just over 6,000 people employed throughout the region. It's probably 6,200 now. A further 3,000 in our alliance partners to think of Kier, Clancy, sort of people that maintain and build some of our assets. If we think of the reservoirs that we're working through at the moment, so a fairly substantial employer in the region. And as part of that, our values go beyond just employing people. We want to give back to the community. We want to improve our services, and we want to do the best for the people we can around here, as well as obviously looking after clean water recycling. You'll see on the screen that we operate over 39,000 kilometres of water mains. As it says there, laid end to end, it's further than a trip to Sydney and back. So a substantial amount of water mains. 77,000 kilometres of sewers. So again, maintaining, looking at technology, looking at how we can develop, looking for issues and problems before they arise. And to do that kind of thing, we need apprentices like Alex that come through the business, that bring a diversity of thought, different ideas, different ways to tackle a problem. The challenge can be, if you've been in a business a long while, there's a certain way of thinking and doing things, but a new person comes in and goes, why are we doing that? Why are we doing this? And that's what the business needs. That's what the utility sector needs, is that thought and that challenge to go, well, we could just do this. This technology exists now. Let's do that. So that's why it's really important for the community and for the company to keep investing. Next slide. That's right. So why become an apprentice? Obviously, I'm talking about the sector in general, but we are clearly biased to Anglian Water because that's where we work and what we look after. But they're essential to the sector. Not only drives innovation, as I mentioned previously, but it helps address the skills shortages. As I'm sure everyone's aware, there is a shortage of electrical skills. There's going to be a shortage of mechanical skills. So it's really important to grow your own, to invest in people, to help bring them on the journey. As I said, it drives innovation. It drives diversity of thought throughout the business. So absolutely key that we get people through. And one of the advantages we have in this sector, specifically, we're really strong out here, and I'm sure it goes to the other utilities, is there's many routes to go up. You can be a technical specialist, you can be a manager, you can be a combination of the two. You can be anything you want. It's the start of your career. You can try out certain routes, do different things. So it's absolutely key that we get people through, but it's key that it's rewarding and good for the apprentice coming through, because ultimately it's their career and they could be doing this for 40 or so years plus. So you've got to be happy in what you're doing. As I previously mentioned, it supports the local economies and it's absolutely key. So it's key. We're building new infrastructure and we're recruiting from the region to try and grow our own talent, but also to bring in talent that's already experienced, and then the apprentices, the graduates, whichever can learn from it and develop. So key for us. So why choose energy and utilities? One of the things we haven't mentioned, although it was mentioned in the intro, is tackling climate change. We're also talking about tackling pollutions and spills and things like that. It's key that people want to be involved in that, and again drive that forward. It's an absolutely integral part to the business and to the community. I think that's it for me on this page. Let's have a look. And then final part is being an apprentice at Anglian Water. So one stat that we're particularly proud of is 87% of our apprentices are still with us up to 10 years. So apprentices that have joined, that have then taken permanent jobs, and as a side thought, all our apprentices, providing they're working efficiently and effectively and behaving, are guaranteed a job at the end of apprenticeship. So we don't rinse people in to apprenticeship 2 years, bring the next apprentice in. We hold roles open for them. So that 87% stat for us is absolutely key to looking after people and developing talent within the business. So it's really important for us. We have a variety of different apprenticeship qualifications and colleges we use. So Peterborough is an example. We do a 2-year and a 4-year course. We also have local universities that we work throughout the region. So it's great opportunities for whatever people want to do. At the moment, it's operational apprentices that are being advertised. So looking after our clean water and water recycling side. That's it from me. Over to you, Alex.
So hi, I'm Alex Curtis. I'm just going to give you a brief overview of my career at Anglian Water so far as part of the apprenticeship scheme. I joined in August 2021 on the 4-year operational water recycling apprenticeship. I spent my first year at college living independently, living away from home, learning to cook and do all that kind of stuff myself. And then I spent years 2 and 3 on block release. So every month I went to college for a week and did all my college related learning. But it was great to be able to relay that learning I've done at college back into the workplace that I'd learned in the first year and the second year. And then year 4, which I'm in now, is spent purely at work alongside my mentor, learning off him, a very skilled individual electrician I'm with at the moment, and it's great to gain valuable experience off them and just continue learning in the workplace. And there's been many opportunities during my apprenticeship outside of the workplace. Pump Centre UK, which are a group of businesses that operate within the water utility sector, are part of a group, and they ran a apprenticeship and engineering awards back in 2022, and I got nominated for my manager. I went through an interview process where I was interviewed by 5 chartered engineers, and I was very lucky to be a finalist for Apprentice of the Year, and went to a big gala dinner over in Telford, which was a great thing to be a part of. I've helped with various career events across my apprenticeship career, as I like to share my experience as an apprentice to others to hopefully draw them in so they can have the experience that I've had, a very positive experience that I've had within their career. At the college I went to in Grantham, they got funding for a European education work experience scheme, so I went over to Germany 2023 in the summer and learned how to weld, and made this log burning stove that heat some mug of tea and coffee up from scratch, cutting all the steel, welding it all up. And then I took that experience from welding and took that into the workplace. And that was a great thing to be a part of, and great 2 weeks spent in Germany, and also seeing cities in Germany and getting learning a bit about the culture. And recently I've joined a collaboration project with Schneider, who are an electrical company, and Anglian Water. We've collaborated, and they've made a smart pump station network, and they were struggling to visualize it when they went to big events. So as apprentices are designing, purchasing and manufacturing a model to visualize this smart pump station network technology. I'm halfway through it at the moment, and there's been lots of CAD designs and stuff done, and I was head of the design process. So it's all coming together, and hopefully it continues and we come up with a lovely end product. And I've got my endpoint assessment next month, so I'll hopefully have my level 3 MVQ in the next few weeks, and then I got my 18th edition electrical wiring regs back in June. So to conclude, apprenticeships are amazing. Earn while you learn. Yeah, that's enough about me.
Thank you, Alex. And just to round up very quickly, if we can get to the next slide, our apprentice campaign, the current one for our operational recruitment, ends this Sunday, the 16th. So if you would like to apply and be considered, please get in contact and apply as soon as possible. Thank you very much.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. Both really interesting, Alex and Graham. Your retention rate, fantastic, 87% over 10 years. That's brilliant. And really, from you, I guess the structure of the program, I guess there'll be opportunities at the end of the session, but just have a think about some of the questions you want to ask at the end of the 3 presentations, then we can push on from there. But yeah, great to hear from you both. Thank you so much. Okay, we're going to move on to the next speakers. So next we have Olivia, and Olivia has been in the early careers industry for just over 5 years. She joined National Grid as an apprentice recruiter in May 2024. Primary recruits for the operations part of the business, including substation engineers and overhead lines persons. Olivia is joined by Harry, who's a higher apprentice project management officer, and he sits within the customer connections part of National Grid electricity transmission. And being an apprentice in September, has really enjoyed immersing himself in the industry and learning about how it all operates. So over to you.
Great, thank you. So National Grid is an energy company, and we operate in both the UK and the US, and we own the high voltage electricity transmission network in England and Wales. So what this means is National Grid electricity transmission is responsible for making sure the electricity is transported safely and efficiently from where it's produced to where it's needed. We've also recently acquired electricity distribution network, and this network serves nearly 8 million customers in the East and West Midlands, southwest of England and Wales, and this helps to deliver essential power to millions of homes and businesses across its regions. So you might have heard about National Grid in the news recently. There's been a lot going on because we're currently undertaking the Great Grid Upgrade. There's an advert at the moment, and I think it's a man driving around in a truck with a big massive plug, if you've seen it. What the Great Grid Upgrade is, it's the largest overhaul of the electricity grid since the 1950s. So it really is the Great Grid Upgrade, and it's made up of 17 major infrastructure projects that will scale up the grid and update our existing networks. And kind of to put it in perspective, they normally only work on 2 projects of this scale at the same time, so it is like a massive scale up in terms of what we're doing. The Great Grid Upgrade will enable us to carry cleaner and more secure energy, and it's projects like this that show why we need more apprentices really at National Grid, as they'll be actively involved in supporting these major initiatives that will help transform the electricity grid in the UK. So you really are kind of changing the future of the UK. So at National Grid, we offer a mix of advanced and higher apprenticeships. And if you are successful in completing the apprenticeship, you'll offboard onto a permanent role once you've finished. So first, I'll kind of talk you through the advanced apprenticeships and what that means. So advanced apprenticeships are level 3 qualifications, and this is the equivalent to an A level. And these roles typically include substation craftspersons, network services fitters and jointers, and they focus on maintaining and operating the equipment to ensure proper functionality so electricity can be transmitted and distributed safely. You can pursue an advanced apprenticeship after turning 16, so once you've finished your GCSEs or other level 2 qualifications, and National Grid fully funds the programme, so you have to foot the bill for anything. And the advanced apprenticeship programme typically lasts for around 3 years, and the starting salary ranges, depending on which business area you're in, from £17,000 per year to just over £23,000 per year. And in some of the business areas as well, this role includes a company car or van. To be eligible for the advanced apprenticeship, you must have achieved or be on track to achieve 5 GCSEs at grade 4 or in old money, that was grade C, and 2 of these must be in maths and English language. Some roles also may require you to work towards obtaining a driver's licence within the first 12 months of the apprenticeship or whenever your 17th birthday is, whichever is sooner, but that's stated clearly on the job description. So now I'll just go on to our higher apprenticeships. So at National Grid, the higher apprenticeships range from level 4 to level 6, with level 4 being kind of the major population of our higher apprenticeships. And a level 4 qualification is the equivalent to a foundation degree or a higher national certificate. Common roles include substation engineers, project managers and PMO analysts, and there's many more as well, but I'll be here all day listing them all off. National Grid also fully funds the apprenticeships, and again, some roles even come with a company car from day one, so that's a really big bonus. To be eligible, you should have achieved or be on track to achieve at least 2 A levels or an equivalent level 3 qualification at grade C or above. I think this roughly equates to 64 UCAS points, just at the top of my head. And as well, you have to have a minimum of 5 GCSEs at grade 4 or above. And again, these have to include maths and English language, and that's just for government funding. We have to ask for that requirement. For the higher apprenticeship programmes, you can expect a starting salary ranging from just over £25,000 a year to just under £30,000 a year, really. So it's a really, really competitive salary. The duration of the apprenticeship can vary depending on the specific programme, but the typical length is between 2 to 5 years. But again, it just depends which level of apprenticeship you're doing. If you're doing a level 6, it will be slightly longer than the level 4. If you are interested in our higher apprenticeship programmes, some roles do require a valid driver's licence at least 3 months prior to joining National Grid. So if you are considering applying, we do ask you just to read the job description carefully to see if this requirement would apply to you and your desired role, and consider if you'd realistically be able to obtain a driving licence by your September 2025 start date if needed. So now I'll pass over to Harry, who is one of our PMO analysts, higher apprentices at National Grid, and he'll just talk to you a bit more about his experience as an apprentice at National Grid. And yeah, over to you, Harry.
Hi everyone, I'm Harry Bradley. I'm a higher apprentice project management officer analyst. It's a bit of a mouthful, but I work within the customer connections side of electricity transmission in National Grid. So our job is to basically connect any power stations or battery farms or solar farms to the National Grid. I work within the performance execution team, which we look at the reporting, risk management, project controls side of the business. We're a support function to sit above the delivery function. So we don't actually work on any sites, but we are there studying how the health of all projects and the risk of financial implications or sanction implications from Ofgem of delivering projects late, and for our customers as well. So I started as an apprentice in September. I started with 14 other apprentices, so there was 6 PMOs and 8 PM apprentices. We spent the first 2 weeks up in Nottingham in Eakring, which is the National Grid Apprentice Training Centre, which if you're a level 3 or level 4 or level 5, you do spend some time there. There's the model substations, overhead lines, the big pylons that you can work on. It's a massive centre. It's got functional skills training, engineering training, everything. There's a hotel there, they're called the Lodge, which you get to stay there. There's a canteen, pool table. You get opportunities to go bowling. They pay for you to go paintballing. It's all sorts. A lot of people do spend a lot of time there. A lot of the asset operations apprentices do spend Monday to Friday there for about 6 months. Obviously, everything's paid when you're up there. As Olivia said, some roles you do get a car from day one. So if you're a PM role, you do get a car. It is because you're required to drive up to 10,000 miles a year for business, so that's why you do get that advantage. I think the car they got this year was a Cupra Formente, brand new, so it's a really good benefit. So I think there's, of all the apprentices I know in the year above, they've all got their project management qualification, which is the APM PMQ, which is a globally recognised qualification, what I'm working towards myself as well. It's a great place to work. Everyone is so friendly. It seems a bit cheesy to say, but I don't think I've met anybody that's not nice. And as an apprentice, you can really dive into the work. It's not just you're there to sit around making a cup of tea. It's very much so from day one, you're given a task or a project to do. You're actually doing a difference in your team. You're not just there as someone to sit and watch. It's a great place to work. We offer the hybrid working, which is really nice. They give you everything you need to work from home, monitor, desk, chair, anything that you need. I think myself, I go into the office probably 2 to 3 times a week, but there's no real expectation to go in the office unless you need to go to site meetings as well. So it's a great place to work. All the apprentices will get along. It's like a friendship group, and as you are with a cohort, you are put together and you go up to Weekend together. You spend a week there in a hotel, and they really try and keep together so that when you are finished off scheme, you stay together as a cohort and as a working group. That's all from me.
Cool. If you don't mind, I'll just quickly take you to the next screen, which just takes you to the QR code. If you scan that QR code, it will take you to all our available apprenticeship vacancies. We did open a while ago now, so the 21st of October, and all our roles will probably be closing at the end of February. Our assessment centres are actually taking place as we speak. So yeah, if you want to apply for any of the apprenticeship opportunities at National Grid, apply now because yeah, they'll be closing in a couple of weeks. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So what I was saying was, so it sounds like some great opportunities here. Thanks to both Harry and Olivia. Some really impressive packages with regards to the offers which you've got there, and Equering sounds amazing. And I know, Harry, I've been there quite a few times. It's a great place to go. So so thanks very much for that. We'll have time for questions at the end. So we now move on to our last session for industry, and this time we have Zoe from Wales Mass Utilities. Zoe's the resourcing business partner for Wales Mass Utilities. Her role involves leading on campaigns such as apprenticeships and graduate schemes, training managers on all things recruitment related, and managing the start to end recruitment process. Zoe started an apprentice in 2019 and developed into a HR advisor over 2020-23 before taking on this role. Zoe, over to you.
Thank you. So hopefully you can hear me okay. But yeah, we're Wales and West Utilities. So we're a gas distribution network that transports gas to customers. We own 35,000 kilometres of pipes, and we invest 2.5 million every week into the maintenance and replacement of our network. We serve diverse communities across cities, towns, villages, and open countryside. And so just to put that into perspective, we kind of look after the whole of Wales. So from South Wales up until North Wales, which can be, from city to rural countryside, and Bristol up until Cornwall. So, a real different kind of geography there. We provide a safe and reliable gas supply to 7.5 million customers across 2.5 million homes and businesses across Wales and the southwest of England. We've currently got around 2,200 skills and experienced colleagues who help deliver our service 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, as well as responding to 90,000 gas emergencies every year. So just to put into perspective what we do. So our apprentice programme then, so since we became Wales and West in 2005, we've recruited over 250 apprentices, and 74% of those are still with us, either in management positions, senior managers positions, and have developed with us, which is really great, and we're really proud of that. Like everyone mentioned, is a great opportunity to earn while you learn and gain the real qualifications while building a career path that suits you. We're quite similar in that our apprenticeship programme leads you onto a real, job and a career path, and you can see that paved out for you. It's not just getting people in on the apprenticeships and off you go. We want you to develop into a real job title and career that suits that then. This is mainly focused on engineering today, as you'll see from the photos on the left. But in the recent years, we've opened this up to human resources as well as asset apprenticeships, which have been really successful. And in the next coming years, we plan to open this up to what we call our back office apprenticeships as well. So it's a comprehensive 3 to 4 programme, 3 to 4 year programme, which usually the beginning start dates are in late August, early September. College arrangements will vary depending on the qualification route that you take, but you'd be situated at your local college. The first year is usually quite heavy with the college attendance, and then it kind of drips as you go through the different programme then. Training would be on the job across our network, working with all of our experienced colleagues. You'd also be set up with a mentor to look after you and kind of shadow and ask those questions and have those meetings, so you got that chance for feedback then. So I was going to play some videos from our apprentices because they couldn't join us, but unfortunately it's not going to work. But they will be shared as part of the learning from this and linked. So, and we're also doing a real big social media campaign of our apprentices this week, so you should see them on our social media. But why they're important to us, it obviously, we're really proud that 74% of our apprentices have stayed with us and developed with us into real meaningful careers. We want to retain that talent and also help us transition to our net zero goals. It's really exciting time to join the industry. There's a lot going on, as Steve mentioned at the beginning. So to be part of that transition is really exciting, and also new and unknown skills that will be coming to support this. Gives you a chance to gain real work experience. I know when I did my apprenticeship, it was great to go to college and kind of learn that theory of it, but then put it into practice while I was with work and meeting my colleagues and things like that. As Steve mentioned, 300,000 vacancies are predicted across the sector, so apprenticeships are key for that. We want people to come into the business with the right values, the right behaviours, and develop their career path. You receive recognised qualifications that will really support your career and your future, as well as future-proofing our sector and developing new talent. So they're really important to us, and we're going to keep growing and growing our apprenticeships as the years go on as well. Okay, so we've got our apprenticeship campaign open now. That is open until the 3rd of March, so a couple of weeks. But these are operational ones. So these are pipeline, mechanical and electrical based. And so our operational campaign is open at the moment. And that's the QR code on our website, and it's got all the information and our recruitment email or number if you need to. But the starting salary is around 24,000. And then once you kind of go through each year, you get incremental pay increases that then put you up to around a qualifying salary of around 40,000 then. And so a real living wage company, and we want to support you through your apprenticeship then. So that's it from me, I think. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. I think I've got my mic on this time. So let's, Zoe, that was really, really interesting. Another impressive retention rate as well, 74%. So it's great to see that. And again, the package, the salary, etc. It's all really, really great. And I think certainly from the conversations which I've had around the bazaars with apprentices and thinking about what the role means to them to be part of something which is really meaningful and supporting that transition to net zero. I think the opportunities which we have really do present themselves in a way that means you can have a significant impact. So look, thank you very much for the questions which have been posed so far. If I can ask all the speakers to turn their cameras back on, please. And I'll start picking through the questions, and then I'll come to you as we go through these. But look, if you feel like you have something to add before I come to you, then please do. So let me just categorize these. There's a couple of questions in here around the opportunities and where will you find opportunities. I'm going to put a QR code up at the end of this that will take you to the Energy and Utility Careers and Jobs website. There are links then back to the current speakers and most of the organizations that are operating across the energy and utilities industry at the moment. So therefore, you'll have an opportunity to go and have a look at those. So, but there are a couple of questions that have come up. I think I know the answer, but I'll come to you anyway. Can international students apply for the roles which we've been talking about today? So shall I come to who's going to take that one? So do you want to have a go at that one first?
Yeah, so we've got our sponsorship visa set up for that reason. So yeah, anyone can apply for our apprenticeship. We've got what we need in place to allow that.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. Olivia? Same, I guess.
So National Grid, we don't sponsor visas for apprenticeships yet, unfortunately, and we do for our graduate positions, but for apprentices they have to have either British passport or indefinite leave to remain or EU settled status to be eligible to apply.
Brilliant. And Graham, Alex?
Yeah, same for us. Unfortunately, we don't sponsor for the apprentice roles.
Okay, brilliant. That's good to know. Thanks very much indeed. So what have we got here? So I'm an electrical engineer, currently pursuing my master's in renewable energy engineering. Is there a program suitable for me, or is there any training program I can apply for? So shall I come to probably Olivia on that one, eh? Olivia?
Yeah, so if you've got a degree, we do try and push you down the graduate route because we do have quite a few graduate roles like within substation and substation engineers. So if you already have that qualification, we do encourage you to complete the graduate route. However, we are open to accepting people with degrees at National Grid. But like I said, we just encourage you, if you've already got that degree, to apply for our graduate programme because it'd be more suited to your skill set.
Brilliant. Thanks so much. Anyone else want to come in on that one? Because I appreciate there are electrical engineers required across all industries.
Probably similar to Olivia, that we would probably think you were best suited for the graduate route. It wouldn't be that it would be a no, but it would probably be better suited for your career progression then.
Yeah. Okay. Brilliant. How can I apply? So I'll come back to that in a second. Can I look at apprenticeships if I already have served a 5-year apprenticeship? They're not exclusive. You don't have to be a certain age, and there are certain criteria which can be reached depending on if you are reskilling or moving to another industry. Anyone want to take that? Because I think it's career movers, I think, are really important as we go through our next phase, transition towards net zero. So anyone want to come in on that one? You've not come to for a while. Zoe, do you want to take that one?
Yeah, I was going to say it depends on what apprenticeship that you've served before, which I'm not sure we've had the details of, but it might be that the apprenticeship route might not be the right route because you may already have transferable qualifications with this, which means we could map you to a later stage of our apprenticeship and it could be shorter potentially. So it could be 1 or 2 years depending on what qualifications you have. But yeah, it might be that actually you fit into a role already with those transferable skills. So it depends on where you are with your qualifications that you've got and your competence, I suppose.
Brilliant. Thank you. Anyone else want to take that one as well? Graham?
Yeah, so it's the same with us, really. We consider everyone on a case-by-case basis. And as you rightly said, we do have apprentices that have changed careers. I was chatting to one last night who was supporting our open evening, and he'd changed, I think he was a mechanic, and had changed over from that, and he's now training in the maintenance side. So absolutely, case by case. And yeah, we encourage people from all ages and backgrounds. So we had a lady join us last year who's mid-50s, as an apprentice. So it really is for anybody. We don't want that stereotype. It can be for younger people. It's literally for anyone looking to develop a meaningful career. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's a really important point, isn't it? I think I guess the apprenticeship brand is previous as perhaps been perceived to be for younger people, but anyone can come into an apprenticeship program, and I think it's a great opportunity to actually transition from one career into another, and doing so still earning as well as you learn that new trade as well. So I think that's really important. Okay, good. Thank you very much. I've got a question here from, is a level 2 mechanical engineering college student eligible to apply? I would assume yes. I think that's a given. Okay. I hold a bachelor's degree in electrical engineering, master's degree in energy storage. I've done that one. So yes, the session is being recorded, and you can get a copy of this. I may delete myself out of it after speaking to myself with no microphone on for a while. How can I find a company for apprenticeship? I'll give you that QR code in a second, and you can use the QR codes which have already been provided. What else have we got? Do you have to apply through UCAS? Anyone want to take on that one?
Oh yeah, I'm happy to take on that one. Yeah, you don't have to apply for UCAS. And National Grid personally, our roles are advertised on the UCAS website, but you don't have to apply through there. That's literally just like another application route. But there are loads of different ways that you can apply. You can apply on the gov.uk, the website itself, UCAS, Indeed. So yeah.
Okay, fantastic. There's a job here about, or there's a question here about studying level 3 national diploma in engineering, finished before September 2025. What opportunities would be available for me? So that's in a diploma in engineering. Plenty of roles, I should think. Plenty of roles. There's so much to go at. I mean, I think probably I won't open that one up. I think the if you look at the breadth of opportunities which are being advertised at the moment around some of these apprenticeship roles, that those skills can be applied to so many of them. So I'd suggest go and have a look at the website afterwards and see what apprenticeship programs are available, because obviously some organizations, and many more organizations than just the 3 we have on the presentation today, are advertising for those roles. So it's a great opportunity to go and have a look at those. What I will, just to reiterate though, the timelines which you're looking at for these are going to be pretty tight. So I'd suggest don't waste any time and go and have a look at what those opportunities are as soon as possible. Right, so what else have we got in here? Locations, so there's a little bit about spots or apprenticeships in London. They're going to be all over the UK. I think if I can just pose to the apprentices, I think thinking from a perspective of looking at coming into industry, and if you could have kind of gone back, I guess, a few years when you were, or a couple of years maybe when you were in school, what's the sort of questions that you were asking yourself, and what were you trying to balance in terms of what you were looking from a career? So shall I come to Harry perhaps first on that one?
I think depending on what sort of, I always wanted to do an apprenticeship. I didn't want to go to university, so I found an apprenticeship as a way to get into an industry without then having to go to university and getting a load of student loans, as well as getting experience. I think doing an apprenticeship is, you trade off obviously the university experience for your work experience, which is arguably more valuable to employers afterwards. Obviously with National Grid, if upon successful completion of your apprenticeship, you're guaranteed a job. So that's another good thing about apprenticeship, is that the company you do it with, such as National Grid, will ensure you have a job afterwards. And I know plenty of people that bring National Grid through the apprenticeship program or graduate programs that have been here for 20, 25 years. So that's why I wanted to do an apprenticeship. I thought I'd get those useful career skills which you couldn't get from a degree on its own.
Brilliant. Thanks, Harry. And Alex? How about yourself?
Yes, I do agree with Harry. Doing an apprenticeship is very different from going to uni, but in my opinion, I got the uni experience because I'm living away from home for my first year. I'm making friends, etc. From a personal point of view, I left year 11 at school and went in to do a college course because I wanted to become a plumber and work in construction. So I did up to level 3 in plumbing, and then the job came up at Anglian Water, and I went for that and got it. But looking back on it, I would have completely missed out the construction and plumbing bit and come straight to Anglian Water, because the skills and stuff I've gained from my time at Anglian Water has been more beneficial than my 3 years at college.
Is that because Graham sat next to you, or no?
It's a great answer, and we haven't coached him at all. It's all fine.
That's enough for me.
Zoe, how about yourself, coming through from an apprenticeship role, I guess?
Yeah, so for me, I was always called a bit of a later apprentice. So I started my apprenticeship at 25, so there's definitely no age limit. But I never envisioned myself going to uni. I got a full-time job in a restaurant at 17 and worked my way up to be a manager. And then I call it my mid-20s crisis, where I was like, I don't know what I want to do with my job or my life. And that's where I started looking at what I enjoy. And it kind of led me down to HR. I applied for my qualification, and the apprenticeship came up at the right time, really. It suits me. I think learning and going to college is one thing, but putting that into practice while learning that is really useful and really helps me develop quite quickly. So yeah, it was the perfect route for me. I couldn't picture myself going to uni. And I had to push myself with college. So I think it just went hand in hand and helped me develop the right skills I needed then.
Brilliant. Thank you. And if I can just ask you one more question, I guess, around everyone again, I think in terms of opportunities and doors which it has opened up within your business, I mean, what lays ahead for you? Where next? Are careers restricted, or are they enhanced by doing apprenticeship programs? I mean, what's you thinking? Shall I come to you first again, Harry?
The National Grid, I think apprenticeships have been there for a very long time. A vast amount of people that have been in National Grid in senior roles, which are come through the apprenticeship schemes or the grad schemes. I think even the CEO, John Pettigrew, was a graduate. I mean, is our big boss now. So, yeah, I think within the next 5 years, we need another 50% of the workforce through employees, and I don't see any other way of getting them into the business without doing apprenticeships and other early careers schemes like that. So, after I complete my apprenticeship, I'll be a full employee within my team. Then I can work my way through the rank structure into different jobs. But it's also important to know that many people in National Grid don't stay in the same role. A lot of people jump from finance to project management, into engineering. It's because it's such a big company. There is so many opportunities to do different things. Yeah.
And I guess international travel as well. A lot of the people I meet in National Grid are traveling across to the States as well. So
yeah, I think one of the procurement apprenticeships, one of the apprentices, I think it's her third week, went to Oslo for a week. A couple of the HR apprentices are going to Boston after summer. So yeah, there's a lot of opportunities. And I think one of the questions was about areas for the apprenticeships. I know in my cohort there's 4 people in the north. There's a couple people down in Bristol, London area. Out in the east coast, like Norwich area. So I'm in Warwick, so in the centre.
Right.
It's all over.
Okay, brilliant. Thanks, Harry. And Alex, how about yourself?
Yeah, I think the apprenticeship offers loads of different skills gained both at college and when you're in the workplace that you can use wherever you want to go within the company. And with there being 6,000 employees, there is a right array of roles within the business, whether that be environmental, project management, or go down the one of the alliance routes. But I think networking helps a lot to meet new people and see what roles they're in within the business. We have a employee-led young professionals group, which I'm part of, and that's a great thing to be a part of. So you can spend time there in person in the office and meet loads of new people. And I'm also a member of the Institute of Water, which I do the same thing, go to social events and network. The opportunity to get through there also open doors to loads of different other skills, get tours of different treatment works and stuff within the water industry in other regions that I wouldn't necessarily be getting if I was in the Anglian region, outside the Anglian region, and sometimes within the Anglian region. Yeah.
Brilliant. Thanks very much. And Zoe, from your perspective, any?
Yes, I think kind of similar. We've got a Futures Generation network, and we've got coaches and mentors set up to look after you throughout your apprenticeship, and then that will continue after. So you've got a real clear path of what role you'll develop into. But beyond that, most of our apprenticeships keep developing onto either management roles or different areas of the business, whether that's net zero and sustainability, because there's obviously a real focus on that, or in transferable skills in different areas of the business. We want to develop people, we want them to stay, we want them to progress. And so there's a lot of internal things that we do to support that. But I think a coach and a mentor and having a real clear development plan is key for that. And obviously for you wanting to, knowing what your career path is and setting that up is a great way to go into it. Be open-minded and just talk to as many people as you can and learn as much as you can, because it's the perfect time for it.
Brilliant. That's fantastic. Thank you very much. Great insight, and thank you to everyone for the questions which you've posed. So, look, I'm going to just wrap up there by just stating where I started out here. Just to say, there are huge challenges coming down the road, and with challenge comes change and opportunity, and plenty for apprentices of all ages coming into the industry to look at to take up a career in the industry. We've heard some great kind of talks from our apprentices and looking at what the opportunities are out there. Some of the things which I've captured here, there's no ceiling. So you can go on to be the chief executive of an organization coming in as an apprentice, and conversely, you can stay in a technician role or an engineer role if that's what you were looking at as well. I certainly know from speaking to other apprentices, potential around networking opportunities, getting out, meeting peers, speaking to people of like-minded with a common goal of achieving this transition to net zero. That job security, as well as having earn while you learn, is really important as well. The social commitment, I think, within industry as well, I think that's really valuable as we go forward, all being part of that. And also that bigger purpose. I think as a firm supporter of apprenticeships and the apprenticeship brand, and that where that's really embedded in really learning the ropes, going into the workplace, being part of that structure of that organization, and being part of the future of that organization as well. And look, there's plenty of organizations out there across the energy and utilities industries which are offering some fantastic careers with some great packages, and some real opportunities for progression, both within that organization and across the wider industry. So I've left there's a QR code up on the screen. Please do feel free to go and have a look at the QR code. That'll take you to a website called Energy and Utility Careers and Jobs. There are quite a few hundred roles on there which are being advertised at the moment, many of which are on the apprenticeship roles. There are deadlines with these, though, so please don't hang about. Go and have a look at those and see what the opportunities are out there for everyone. And just to thank our speakers and everyone that supported putting this event on today for all your inputs. Thank you very much indeed.
Perfect. Couldn't have said it better myself. Just as a reminder for everybody that this session is recorded and can be found on YouTube at Career Map TV in the coming week. So all that's left to do is thank you everybody for attending. Thank you to the presenters. You did an absolutely fantastic job. And I hope everybody has a great rest of the day. So yeah, thank you. Bye.
Thanks all. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Cheers. Thank you.